Hey, what you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm actually about to go to the junkyard, bro, of all places. The middle piece right in my car, when I put my elbow on there to lean, it's all cracked, and every time I put it there, man, it's pinching me. So I'm going to see if I can pick one up over there, man, all right?
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, bro.
All right, man, well, that's what God has planned.
Man.
I have people talk to me about tomorrow practically all the time. They tell me about where they're gonna go, what they're gonna do next, what they're gonna become, what album they're gonna produce, how they're gonna put it out, then what's gonna happen. You know what? I hear a lot of plans for tomorrow. And some of them are great plans. Some of them you can tell that God is like right in the middle of them, leading them and guiding them and directing them. And then others, sometimes you can just tell something is a little off. Might be a little bit arrogant, prideful, boastful, a little bit self-centered. And many times when you see those people again tomorrow, in 3 months or 6 months or a year down the road, and you're asking them, so how's that thing going that you told me about yesterday? Remember that? And yeah, I'm not quite there yet. Tomorrow. That skyline over there, it was supposed to look a lot different than it looks today. Just about 3 or 4 years ago, there was all these big plans of all these developers saying what they were going to build and what was going to go vertical tomorrow. You know, there was all these pictures and drawings and everybody was all excited and, hey, buy this condo, get into this office building. Man, I mean, downtown Tampa was supposed to look like Manhattan in a minute. But what actually happened tomorrow was about 4 or 5 new skyscrapers were built, and that was about it. So here we are, the junkyard. Most of the people who own these cars probably would have never thought these cars would end up here as quickly as they did. You have any Ford Explorers?
Yeah. What year are you looking for?
2001.
Yeah, I got a 2000 back there.
Okay. This church leader from back in the day, his name was James, and it's said that he actually had this nickname. They called him Old Camel Knees. And it was because after years and years of praying on his knees, he developed these thick calluses, old camel knees. And as Old Camel Knees wrote some stuff in the New Testament, he wrote this letter to believers back in his time, but it's still so relevant for us today. And in chapter 4 of his letter, he tackled the topic of tomorrow. And he said this. He said, listen, he says, some of you guys will boast and brag about what you're going to do today or tomorrow and what city you're going to go to, or what place you're going to go to, who you're going to work with, who you're going to hook up with, and what business you're going to start and how you're going to blow up. Then you're going to make all this money. He says, hold up, wait. He said, you guys don't even know anything about tomorrow because your life is just like some fog, and then when the sun comes out, it quickly vanishes. So James here, he's not saying like that we shouldn't plan for tomorrow. He's not saying we shouldn't have dreams and vision and plan for the future, because Scripture makes tons of references to that stuff all throughout. But the key point here, the key element is self. He's talking about self, because when it becomes all about self and it's about the boasting and look at me and the pride, and where getting on your camel knees is not included, including God, he's not a part of the process. That's many times where we miss it, where we get messed up when we're planning for the future or thinking about tomorrow. So here we are, and you look around and all these different cars here in this lot, in this junkyard. And you know what? A lot of people, man, they planned for these cars. They worked hard. They had big plans. They saved up money. They borrowed money. They went into debt. They probably got into some arguments because of this stuff. I don't know, some people might have ended up having to sleep on the couch because of some decisions made over this stuff. Some relationships might have got messed up, maybe even ended because of some of this stuff. You know what? It's safe to say that there's probably some people who even lost their lives in this stuff unexpectedly. Some stuff they would have never thought would happen to their stuff tomorrow. So James' point is really summed up in verse 15, where he says, instead, what you should make it a habit of doing and of saying is, if it's God's plan, if it's His will, if we're still alive, then we'll go there. Then we'll do this. Then we'll do that. But it's all about including Him and making sure it's part of His plan. The part's not in there. And forget about the boasting and the bragging and the name dropping, because you know what? God's not impressed with that. As a matter of fact, most people, they're not really impressed with that either. And then the very last verse of that chapter, you know, after talking about tomorrow and including God, he brings up the point of, well, you know what? Some of you already do know what God's plan is for tomorrow, what His vision is for your life, what your calling is. He's kind of showed you, you know in your heart what it is. And he says, for those of you that do know what you're supposed to do and you don't do it, it's evil. It's sin. And you know what? That's some of us. We know what we're supposed to be doing down the road, but we're just kind of sitting, collecting dust. We're just waiting. We're lazy. Or some of us are maybe doing something that's totally in the opposite direction. Something we shouldn't be doing at all. We have no business doing, but we're chasing after that. So we came here today looking for a part for my truck, but they didn't have it. I guess it wasn't God's will, so it's all good. So as we plan for tomorrow, and it might be some big things that you're planning for right now. It might be your career, your family, your ministry, or it might be some more immediate things, like maybe fixing something, fixing something in your life, or planting a seed with somebody, or helping somebody. But whatever the case is, live humbly, be real, and get on your knees and include God in your plans for tomorrow.